It's up to you. No, you can put everybody up there. It's cool. Welcome everybody to Set the Trend. Well, another edition of Set the Trend podcast, another live edition of Set the Trend podcast, and we're happy to be back. Me, my co-host, my fellow co-host, Michael Wicked Man Fontaine. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I feel like you kind of set me up, though.
Why do you feel that? Why would we set you up? Why would we actually do that to you, sir?
No, it's that you all got pretty shirts on today.
Oh.
And I wasn't aware. I didn't get the memo on that one.
Well, that was Reggie that got the memo, and Reggie.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Pimp Daddy is in the building.
Well, you know what happened? It was last week. Obviously, we had the theme thing where we had the mayor. So I thought we got artists this week. So why not try and dress up as an artist? And today I present to you Curtis Mayfield, aka Reggie Starks.
more like Maggie Mayfield. You get me? I don't know about Curtis.
Hey, don't tell me about you know. Anyway, hope you guys are good. Hope you've had yourself a good week and staying safe and stuff like that.
Good, but
today.
But Reggie, Curtis Mayfield, get the hat from?
Sorry?
Where'd you get the hat from?
What do you mean? It's in my collection. You know about these type of hats.
I like to coat myself.
Looks like you're going to Ascot with that hat.
You reckon?
So lads, you're all right. You've been keeping safe, have you? Yeah?
Yeah. All good, man.
All good. I'm getting used to this. It's nice.
Yeah.
What? The midweek live session, as we call it.
Indeed.
The midweek live session. Set the trend.
And people, can you please share the link? We're live on Facebook, Set the Trend Podcast, our Facebook page. Can you share the link, please? And also, if you know people who are not on Facebook and they want to be part of it, they can do so by viewing us at Set the Trend Podcast on YouTube. So you can just type it into YouTube there, and you will get that coming up for you there. So that's Set the Trend Podcast Facebook page and Set the Trend Podcast YouTube, and we're live on both right now, so you can just do that for us and share the link. Welcome. And as I will be saying to you throughout the show, if you want to send in your questions to our artists or for us, then you can do so throughout the show. Just put them down, and our administration team will be happy to send the questions to us. No filtering. So this week, are we looking forward to this week or what? What a lineup have we got for these viewers this week on Set the Trend Podcast?
Big one, man.
Yes, no?
Yeah. It's a great lineup. It's a really amazing, stellar cast of artists who've contributed so much to the soul scene here in the UK, and also reggae as well to come. And it's going to be really, really, really cool. I think we've got, who else? If you want to give a menu rundown, sir.
I will do, but just before we do that, this week we're discussing how this pandemic is affecting artists throughout the world, but specifically in UK, probably UK bold. But we have an international flavour this week as well, saying that. So we're going to be discussing how that is and how that's affecting the artists and what they're doing to mitigate their losses at the moment. So we'll be talking to a young artist by the name of Kadeem Tyrell. We'll be talking to Hill Street Soul. We'll be talking to Omar MB. We'll be talking to Aysha Loren. We also will be talking to Aysha Loren. And our international connection this week is Carmichael. He'll be coming on the show. Look forward to talking to him. Haven't before. And also we'll be talking to Kejam Magic, who is an artist and promotional producer, and he will be coming on as well to give his take on how it's affecting the business and what should artists be looking forward to, how the game's going to be changing. Because guys, this coronavirus is definitely a game changer, right?
100%.
Definitely, and every day, something's changing, something new's occurring, and it's like we want to make some predictions of what we can do, but you just can't do it. So you're gonna have to be creative in this time to boost your income for one. You know, income's one of the most important things in this game. But you're gonna have to be creative, because what we're seeing at the moment doesn't really look like there's going to be any live music events for a good period of time.
As we know it, no live music events as we know it.
As we know it, yeah. There might be, I think they might have limited live artists events, so they might limit the number of people who can go to a venue. I don't think you're going to see big budget 5,000K concerts happening anytime soon.
You know, at the moment, it's just one big guessing game, and you know, I just can't wait to get to the bottom of it, so you know, we can start planning again.
How do you think new media will play a part in it going forward?
Oh, it's going to be huge, 100%, and I'm sure a lot of the artists who we've got on board today have either, you know, looked into stuff like this, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say and what they've done, and the type of stuff that they've maybe got into gear for planning to help use digital media going forward. So looking forward to hearing that, but it'd definitely be a big part. Sorry guys, this artist thing is a bit too hard for me, mate. I'll just
you're losing some weight here. You're losing some weight. You might want to keep it on.
Sorry, quarantine haircut.
And he's doing his Stevie Wonder impression. Look at that, the dark glasses.
Oh, that's better. Lovely now.
That's the guy we love.
That's our really style.
I need a drink of rum, mate. To that.
Welcome back, Reggie Styles. In terms of artists and their income, I mean, if you're looking at what they would normally be collecting, so publishing, but that for many artists is not a big source of income, is it?
In regards to publishing, if you got a big hit, I think, you know, in this day and age with streaming, if you get your streaming plan right, and you can get your things like Bandcamp and use that correctly, I think you can make a lot of money.
I think that the artists that we've got on the show today, I think a lot of them, I'm sure the majority of them will make their money through live music events. So it'd be really interesting to hear their take on the situation and what they're doing to, you know, to boost their revenue. Should be interesting.
If you had an artist right now, Eastender, how would you be thinking about boosting their income, or thinking outside the box, as we like to say?
I think, well, definitely, it's like it would have to be. Look, there's I've seen a couple of artists do this, and I think it's really good. What they're doing is they're going onto social media, Instagram, Facebook, and talking to their audience. You know, communicating with their audience. The singers are singing to their audience like Monday, Tuesday, like for the whole week. And then for the following week, they put on a live show. So they're engaging with their audience, and then he's performing to them. And the audience is like giving back. They're donating, you know, donation towards him. So, you know, they're raising their income. So if I had an artist, that would be the road that I would want to go down. You know,
so that's maybe one of the streams that they might mention later on and talk about.
I think so, definitely.
Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing what they will be saying. We have our first artist who's up in the building somewhere, Reggie, isn't he?
Yeah. Hopefully we should have Mr. Kadeem Tyrell. Kadeem Tyrell. Kadeem, are you all right? Yeah, sir.
I don't think he is here.
No, he's not here.
Not in yet. He's not in yet.
He's not in yet. Oh, okay.
No.
Well, we could keep on talking for a little bit.
But Reggie, same for you. You know, if you had an artist right now, how would you market them in this
Me
situation?
Personally, I think I'll use the first couple of weeks would obviously be used writing records and stuff like that. Is that Kadeem?
It sure is.
Oh, there he is. Kadeem, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Right. For those of you who don't know, this is a artist who's been around for a number of years on the kind of like new soul scene, the next generation of soul,
R&B,
R&B and stuff like that. And you know, you've put out quite a few releases which you've written yourself, and some of them you've produced yourself independently. for you, how's lockdown been treating you?
Good. It's been really good. Do you know what? To be honest, I'm enjoying this because I always work full time. So this lockdown's been alright for me.
Okay, so you have a full-time job
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Okay, so for you, having a full-time job and being an artist is kind of like the smart thing to do. Most people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. At the moment, I'm not working because everyone's like put on furlough. So they're put on hold. But this thing is like a blessing in disguise for me because it means that I get to focus on all the other things that I haven't been able to focus on when I'm at work. So it's been good.
So you as an independent artist, you're not signed, right?
No, independent.
Yeah. So you've got your own recording studio, haven't you? And
yeah, all at home.
Okay, so what have you been doing? Having the advantage of having a studio at home, you know, what's that been like, and what have you been doing?
So even the reason why I even had that is because I didn't want to go and record in studios all the time. So I thought it's better for me to have like a. Can you hear me properly? Can you hear me, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, good. So it was a place where I can be comfortable and just record whenever I got an idea. If it means that I've got to get up in the middle of the night and be like, okay, cool, I've got this idea, I can just go and do it. So I think it was like a year out of being in the studio with other people, and then just taught myself on Logic, asking friends, how do I do this, how do I do that? Started to use my money that I was getting paid from work to just buy the stuff. And then here I am now, just with all the equipment at home, so I can get up and just do it.
So you're kind of like part of the young generation of soul artists from the UK coming through. Now you're very, I take it, up to date on social media and all the various platforms.
Yeah.
What have you found that has been beneficial for you during the lockdown to help grow your fan base and also to learn more about how to market yourself online via social media during the lockdown period?
So you say learning. I'm still learning, but I've learned a lot. Like through this time, if I'm going to be honest, like for example, like of course I do the whole Instagram, I do the whole Facebook stuff and all that stuff as well. But this time I was really able to like dive into it. So for example, I don't really go onto Instagram and talk all the time. But when I started to do that, after I'd done like an Instagram live, I'd done like a show, like a whole concert that was live from my bedroom. And I started, so the engagement with the people was really good. People just started to really talk to me much more and just, you know, just kind of send me messages and just be like, we want to hear more of your voice. We want to hear you talk. We want to know about you. Because at the end of the day, I'm a brand and me walking and talking is still part of that brand. So people want to buy into the artist. They want to know what you're about and what you do in your daily life. Like, what else are you doing apart from music? How do you feel today? How do you keep yourself up through this quarantine stuff? So my way of connecting and engaging with the people through social platforms has been the best as of yet. For example, I've seen my following grow, if that makes any.
Is that like organically, or have you had to kind of like post with, you know, I know a lot of new artists do this thing where you pair up with another artist, they post your thing, you post their thing.
Oh, no, it's all organic.
Amazing.
No, so me, I literally just do whatever just kind of works for me. So I've been doing a lot of the live stuff. I've been doing much more posts of just me doing some other stuff. For example, I've been cooking as well. So
Yeah, what you been cooking? What kind of stuff you been cooking? Sorry, dear Kadeem.
I've been cooking everything. So I learned rice and peas last week, but I think my rice and peas have been the best rice and peas that I've had.
I mean, it's not that wishy-washy rice and peas. It's the firm rice and peas, yeah, the proper things. Okay.
So I wanted to use this time to kind of like learn not just musical stuff. So I've been like writing as well, but I wanted to learn all my tradition dishes. So my mum I live with, so I got her to teach me. So that's been
excellent.
That's been the best part of it all. And we've been like just cooking, and I've been learning guitar as well to kind of like better my artistry. So all things like that, I've been using this time to do all the things that I wanted to do.
One of your passions is photography. You got a degree in photography. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had an opportunity to take your camera out and take pictures of lockdown London? Because that's a unique picturesque right now.
But even if taking that risk, that's me going and trying to get COVID-19. So it's much better to take. It's much better to take the photos from my house. But I've been in, and I've been using that skill, should I say, to kind of like entice my my fans, whether that be like a picture of me or just me, but be very artistic about it, and just like think about all the photos that you're putting out and all things like that. So I actually studied the histories and theories of photography, so I know how photos work and stuff like that, and what's enticing to the eye and things like that, and the colors and things like that. So
what does CMYK mean?
CMYK.
Yeah, what does CMYK mean?
If this has something to do with cameras, this was a long time ago.
Cyan, magenta. I forgot the other two. Sorry.
What the colours?
Didn't do much in his degree, did you? They just handed it to you.
But I told you, because at first I didn't want to do music. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do music, but I want to do photography. But then I think in my second year of uni, I switched off. And then obviously I was like, you know what, I'm going to continue it, but I'm going to pursue music at the same time as well. So I got my degree and was like, okay, cool, got it, I done it, finished it, and let's go and do this music thing.
From that stage to music, how long did it take you to get there to where you are now? How long was that journey?
Well, to where I am now, So I was 21 when I think I released my first tune. I'm 26 now. I would say I started on the R&B scene probably in 2018. 2018, that's when I started doing R&B. And that's when everything started to kind of grow, like bigger than it was before. Because I was doing soulful garage before, and I was kind of dibbling and dabbling with it. Because I was just thinking about I wanted to go and get this car and get that and things like that. So I wasn't really focused on the music, but I knew I wanted to do it. But during that time, I was also just studying my own sound and what it is that I wanted to do. So I was working with other producers and kind of finding out, ways to record at home and sound good, if that makes sense.
And for people that don't, and for the people that don't know that sound, what is it? What is that sound that you do?
So I would say just alternative R&B. So it's R&B with soul in it.
Okay, so who would you so
The Weeknd?
I wouldn't put myself with them. I would like to believe that my lane that I'm in, I don't feel like there's a lot of people doing it. Doing my own mind anyway. There's a lot of artists that who are much older than me that I look up to, but I would like to say that I've used a lot of different sounds and kind of put that into what I am. So for a time being, I was quite what's the word? I wasn't confident in the sound because it was very different to what everybody was doing. Whereas some people might think it's the same, but to me, I had to understand my tone. I had to understand that my tone wasn't like all the tones I was hearing. So I'm now understanding that, to me, this is just a unique sound and my own kind of lane.
So in the lockdown period, you've been writing and you talk about tones and sounds. Do you feel that during the lockdown period, that is going to change? Is it going to be more emotional? Have you been writing stuff that's a bit more joyful or joyous?
Have you been writing how to cook rice and beans?
No. I have been challenging myself when it comes to writing. I think for me, I don't like to dive into singing emotional stuff, although I have an emotional song. But I'm much more of a happy kind of person, so I like the joyful sound. So when I'm at my best is when I'm happy. So that's when I want to write. Some people can write out there when they're feeling low, but that's not really me. I'm just like, forget this. I don't want to do it. But when I'm happy and I'm feeling okay, which is now, and I've had time to myself, I've got to know myself much more, and spending time in my own company as well as my family, I've been able to write really well, and the songs that I'm really loving at the moment.
Kadeem, can I ask you, because I know you was due to perform on some festivals this year, which obviously got cancelled.
Yeah.
So as an artist, what are you? So the big shows are gone out the window. So mine's a two-pronged question. Are you doing what some other artists are doing and performing on their Instagram?
Yeah.
And doing your thing. And two, because you're not doing those shows, how are you going to replace that income? So how are you thinking about performing and getting paid for it, or haven't you thought about that?
So the pay part of it, I haven't thought about that bit yet, because I know that that's going to be a difficult part. But I think when it comes to, is it supply and demand? I would say, like, when it comes to demand, I can work on that now. So, for example, all the things that I can work on, so that, for example, trying to get a bigger fan now, so that when it does come to showtime again, you don't have to worry about the money, because people are going to want to see you. So to answer your first question, I have been doing the Instagram lives. I've been doing much more and seeing a lot of my people come in and kind of want to hear the music. I've been releasing music at the same time as well. And just also like little 1 minute song clippets, which has got a lot of love as well, which I was quite surprised by. But people just always want to hear.
That engagement is different, isn't it? That engagement is different. So how do you feel? Because the lockdown has given some positives. There's, you know, it's got the negatives that people are dying, that it spread fear globally. But within that, you still have to look at what comes out of it positively for yourself. So for you, that engagement with your fans, how has that been in terms of shaping your music?
So what do you mean, the last bit?
So how was that engagement? Has that engagement meant that you've kind of shaped your music a bit different because of the interaction that you've now had?
Well, only one song. So maybe I'm going to say yes. Because only like a few things of the little 1 minute songs I've been doing. I've just wrote some stuff that kind of like connected with the people, which I didn't really want to do. I didn't really want to sing about quarantine and being at home, but I've made it, well, there's one song I've made in a way where it's just like, you can just be happy on your own, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So it has helped in terms of like, it does bring people to my music anyway. So for example, when people see me on Instagram, if I like to sponsor it or things like that, people are talking and being like, oh, you're sick, or where can I find some more stuff? Where I do have more stuff on Spotify. So help me in that way. So luckily, things like, I think it's called Bandcamp and
Bandcamp.
Spotify have been, you still get paid for those things. So they are saying that the streaming is going lower, but I'm seeing that my streams are still the same at the moment, or a little bit more, because, you know, some people are following from now.
Okay. So listen, we're getting some questions as well coming in from people who are currently viewing. Thank you very much to everybody who's taking their time out to this Wednesday. You can check us out at the Set the Trend podcast, and also you can post your questions as well in there, also at the Spot as well, and on YouTube. We're currently talking to Kadeem Tyrell. And Kadeem, D-Mac, he's asked a question. He said, which artist influenced you when you were growing up? Like, who's the biggest influence for you as an artist?
See, the thing is that every time this question comes, I feel like my head is always like, there's so many, but there is. I was influenced a lot by Donald Jones, Brandy, A Tribe Called Quest, Aaliyah, Tyrese. So a lot of them.
Okay,
a lot of 90s,
yeah.
90s R&B and hip hop.
90s R&B is what I'm quite deeply into.
Got a question here as well from your dad. He says, are you gonna pay him some royalty points?
So now, if you want to pick some master my tracks, then of course.
For those of you who don't know, Kadeem's famous dad is Tyrone, the owner of the Spot, and you see him on Facebook at any hour of the night playing music, and he's one of the veterans of our street sound circuit. So big up Tyrone on that one. He did one good thing in his life, then, didn't he, Kadeem? He did one good thing in his life, then, didn't he?
Yeah, me.
Listen, Kadeem, I wish you all the best from us here at Set the Trend and everybody else who's listening.
Hold on, where can they get hold of him? What your Instagram handles and so forth and Facebook?
Kadeem Tyrell, so that's KADEEMTYRELL on everything.
Right, thank you.
Excellent stuff.
Well done. Keep it up. Best of luck with your career.
100%. And I'll keep playing them tunes as long as you keep sending them, mate.
Sweet, I will.
Thank you.
Take care. See ya.
Right. Well, that was our first guest up, Kadeem Tyrell. A very bright, a very bubbly young artist. He seemed very positive.
100%. His music's pretty good as well, I have to say. He's a very good vocalist. and his writing has definitely improved over the years, and you can hear the way that he's started off at writing, you know, very simple stuff to now doing more complicated riffs and stuff like that. So but he's got a good future ahead of him, 100%. And he's been doing it for a number of
Reggie
years.
Styles says that, he must have it.
Yeah, definitely. Of course. Come on, man. On the hit
Welcome to you all. We're on Set the Trend podcast. We're beaming live for now in quarantine lockdown every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Next week, we have a big lineup for you, as well as, we'll tell you more of that as we go through. Remember to share and like us at Set the Trend podcast on Facebook. And also, for those of you who don't have Facebook, or some of your friends who don't have Facebook and you think they're missing out, or they are missing out, Set the Trend podcast, we also streaming live on YouTube, on our YouTube page, so you can catch us on there. Big up Rick Clark all the way in sunny Barbados there, sunning himself, and he's locked in. Miss Claude Fulton, as usual, always locked in, one of our regulars. D-Light, Dee Demure, Wendy McLean, shouts out to you all. Just keep it locked in. If you want to ask questions, then just send them in, and our admin team will forward them to us, so we'll get a chance to maybe read out your question.
We've got the supermodel Cecilia Marquise in there as well, manager and also
Mrs. Colours,
ITV model.
Yeah. Miss Bright Colours,
Young Ting, Miss Young Ting. Anyway, Reggie. So where are we at now?
Right. Okay. So listen, we've had one great artist already. We've got so many more to come. We've got Omar, we've got Aysha Loren, we've got Aysha Loren, we've got Kejam, and on right now, this is like amazing for me because when I do my radio show.
Hold on one second. You also forgot our international artist.
Yeah,
Carmichael will be up as well.
He's right there as well. Sorry, Carmichael. Nothing personal. We'll get to that one anyway.
He always gets excited before a woman comes on, yeah.
Well, this particular lady, right? Okay, I've loved her music since God knows how long. I always play her music, and I'd run a little joke on the radio saying she's the lady that I should have married. Really, you know.
Okay.
So apologies if there's any hopefuls out there, but I'm
just to say, Rezi, and just to say before you do your big intro and introing your art and introing our special guest, remember this is this podcast, this particular one, we're looking at artists and their income and how are they adapting to the change that this virus has put upon us, and how is it affecting their lifestyle, their income streams.
Don't worry, I know that was like the prompt for me not to ask any silly questions. I know. Anyway, please welcome. I think she's here. The wonderful Hillary, aka Hill Street Soul. Hillary, you there, Hill Street?
I'm here. Can you hear me though?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, lovely. Nice to be with you guys, man. How are you all?
Oh my God.
We're good. Hillary, this is Fifth Avenue here, Ray. We're missing your beautiful face, though. You know. Come on.
You know what it is, man. I'm kind of rocking that lockdown look, and it's not a good look, right? No, I just wasn't really prepared, so you have to excuse me, man. I'm being a bit vain, I know, but you know how it is.
You always look beautiful to me, Hillary.
Oh, bless, thank you.
Anyway, so listen, how's lockdown been treating you?
Boy, I mean, yeah, it's different, isn't it? It's
very
change.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you have to put things into perspective because I know there's some people that's really going through it. So, you know, in light of that, I would say, I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess. But not, that said, it is a challenge. It's different, man. It's like, yeah, a total adjustment of life, really. So just, still trying to get my head around it. But like everybody else, we're all going through it together. So interesting.
And you're an artist that has been doing your thing for a while now. You've had some great hits on the scene. You just recently had the #1 on the UK Soul Chart with Reggie Myrix.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
You've got the big record. I mean, that record's kind of like a hit at the time when lockdown was starting to come in. It was, really starting to do really, really well. And I think your follow-up as well. What has it been like putting out records in isolation? Like, have you managed to think to yourself, well, how can I get my record promoted in lockdown? What have you been doing to keep
Well,
people following
I mean,
music?
yeah, it is kind of obviously different because you can't really go out and perform it like I would under normal circumstances, you know, probably do PA or whatever. So it's kind of different in that respect because obviously all you're relying on is, you know, your radio airplay, if you're lucky to get any, and obviously, you know, some interviews on air as well, radio interviews. So it is a little bit more challenging, but I think you just kind of have to work around it because you know, it's something that we're all, you know, all artists are going through. So I know a lot of people are turning, to the online way of promoting themselves and their work. So yeah, it is a bit of a challenge. But that said, I think I do feel a bit lucky because obviously the record was really well received. And it's also now doing its thing in the States. So and this is just like, you know, with me just sitting at home kind of just hearing about it and stuff, so I do feel kind of fortunate in that respect. But yeah,
Okay.
it is challenging because you would like to kind of go out there and and work it and stuff, but it is what it
I mean,
is.
yeah, and I know you're type of artist that you do a lot of live shows and you do your own headline shows as well. Have you been thinking about live concerts from the Hill Street Soul Towers? Have you been invited to do any kind of like live online gigs at all?
Yeah, I mean that's something I know that I will definitely need to think about. I think I've not really kind of honed into that at the moment just because I've had the record doing its thing, so I'm just kind of monitoring that situation. But I think, yeah, moving forward I will definitely need to kind of think about doing a live thing because it seems like everybody's doing it. But at the same time, I'm not very techie, so I kind of need to get my head around all that because it's all new to
I
me.
think
I'm
there's
I'm
a
always
technician in the
like
house
2 years. Yeah, I'm always
that will
behind
offer
with
up his
technology,
services.
man.
Yeah, me.
So I mean, like for example, I remember like when MySpace was out, and obviously this was a while ago. Yeah, I was probably like, I don't know, 5 years behind. So I'm always kind of like having to play catch up, but that's just me because I'm a bit of a geeky analogy type of chick, I suppose, rather than the
So have you?
digital. But I am
So have
trying
you?
to keep up. So
Okay. So have you taken this opportunity to put pen to paper? Have you started writing? No. One of the questions I always ask
yeah,
you when I see
definitely
you.
that is something that I'm definitely kind of striving towards because yeah, we've got a lot of time to kill. So I have been putting pen to paper and just trying to get my creative ideas kind of down and stuff.
And where
So I'm really trying to utilize
and
this
where's you?
time to get my ideas together so that when I am able to get in the studio properly, I can just get on with it and record it. So for me, that is the best kind of possible way that I'm trying to utilize this time.
And at the moment, while you're being creative, where's your emotions taking you with your songwriting? Is it love songs? Is it peace songs? Is it war songs?
Do you know what? I have to say, this whole kind of like lockdown, this self-isolation, I don't know, there's all these words floating around, but yeah, it's really kind of put me in a reflective mind state. Definitely, because there's just so much information floating around at the moment and just so much going on, in terms of how it's impacted everybody. You can't, I mean, it's just if you're not really impacted by what's going on, then yeah, it's I think it would be strange. Do you know what I mean? So it has affected me in that way that it has kind of made me think a little bit deeper, I suppose, in terms of things you can talk about in your songs. And I've noticed a lot of my fellow artists doing that as well, especially during this time. They're all coming up with their ideas, observations of what's been going on in the world and that kind of stuff, because it is quite it's quite deep what's going on right now. So it definitely has played, or rather is playing a part in terms of my songwriting. Absolutely, I would say that.
I mean, in the 80s, as a result of some of the suppression we had, it was the birth of what they call the rave scene. So do you feel that a lot of happy music is going to be coming out from a lot of artists?
What, happy or unhappy?
Happy.
Yeah, it depends where your emotions are taking it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I mean, I'm one of these people actually, in terms of when I'm writing songs, I could be going through something that's really quite bad, quite depressing. But I always try and, I don't know, I always try and see the positive at the end of it. the end of, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, if you like. I don't know, it's just my mindset, because there is so much just negative, depressing stuff going on. And for me, as a, you know, as a human being, as an artist, I think one way that I try and overcome that is by writing kind of up tempo, not necessarily up tempo, but just like lyrics that are, you know, with a bit of optimism in it, a bit of hope in it. So I think,
Hillary,
yeah, you will definitely get a lot more of that, because I think the world needs it, to be honest with you.
Just on that, from one of our,
you know, stuff that I think
is,
I mean, this is something obviously that's the first for our, you know, for our generation in terms of what's going on right now. I think a lot of people, yeah, have been thrown off, and but that said, these things have been going on in history. So as far as, you know, talking about it, I think people always gonna write songs of hope and, you know, seeing better days, that kind of stuff, because that's what keeps us going, really.
So Hillary, there's a question here from one of our from one of our viewers, and exactly on that question from Tony Frith. He says, so has quarantine enhanced or has it suppressed your creativity?
In my case, I think it's definitely enhanced it, just because I've got more time on my hands. So I'm putting a lot more energy into writing. Whereas under normal circumstances, you know, there's so many other things going on. You know, you're running around, you've got shows to prepare, you're rehearsing or whatever. So that can sometimes eats into the creative side of an artist. But just, you know, being in this situation where we're all kind of, you know, under lockdown, I've got a lot more time to kind of invest in my songwriting and songs. So I would say it's definitely made me get into it a lot more.
Okay.
If that answers the question.
100%. 100%. And you know what? For me, this is great to be able to speak to some of the best of the UK soul people here at Set the Trend Live. And you've been putting out some amazing music. And I'm so looking forward to hearing the stuff that you're going to come with, because I know it is going to be top notch, you know, from our very own Hill Street Soul.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? I just have to say, I really appreciate the love and support from you guys as well, because I know sometimes, you know, you think we're not watching, but we are. And I personally would like to say thank you for all the love and support. And this just goes out to all the DJs, you know, like, you know, just from people that I've met when I've done shows and on radio. So, you know, and I appreciate you guys actually even asking me to come on the show to talk about this. So, you know, mad props to you guys. Thank you.
Just like to say, just like say, Louis, where can we get you? Where can people find you if they want to get in contact with you, know more about your tunes, know more about you?
Right. Okay. Well, like I said, I'm not very, you know, kind of technological, but I am on Facebook and Instagram. So that's just Hill Street Soul. That's HILSTSOUL. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and obviously there's my website as well, www.hillstreetsoul.com. So those are the best ways to reach me. And I'm on Twitter as well. But yeah, so feel free to message me or just hit me up on there, because I'm, you know, occasionally on there checking out, you know, seeing what's going on and stuff. So so yeah, so if anybody wants to know what I'm getting up to, what's, you know, what musical stuff I'm doing, it's all on there.
Have you got a Bandcamp?
I have. Oh my gosh! See what I mean? I'm really bad. I forgot about my Bandcamp. Yes, I've got a Bandcamp.
Everybody,
as well,
go to her Bandcamp.
So yeah, you can check me out on there as well.
Buy it.
Thank you for the heads up, man.
If you want to support music, an artist's music, go to her Bandcamp, Hill Street Soul's Bandcamp, and go and you can purchase directly, and all the money goes directly to Hillary as well. So she gets a bigger slice of the share of whatever you purchase, and it doesn't go to you know, some greedy person who's taking 50%.
Company.
Yes.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Thanks a lot, Hillary. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you guys, and you know, enjoy the rest of the show. I'm gonna log on and check you guys out as well now. So, but thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for.
Take care.
You. All right, bye bye.
I'll see you on the other side. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, the UK soul singer that is Hill Street Soul. Lovely, lovely, lovely lady.
One of my favorites.
I'm very, very supportive of the street culture as well. So I don't think she's never had time to talk cut a dub plate or two even.
Well, lucky I've got a jingle.
Set the Trend podcast back here. This is the quarantine edition where we discuss the artists and how this quarantine, this pandemic, this global pandemic is affecting much loved artists out there. How are they getting another income stream to come in to supplement their musical activities that they would be carrying out now? So that's what we're talking about. We've heard from Kadeem Tyrell. We've heard from Hill Street Soul. We have Carmichael to come up. We have Aysha Loren to come up. And we also have Kejam to come up as well later on. Go to, when you're on our Facebook page, Set the Trend Podcast, you can also see, you can also like, you can also share. We're also on YouTube. For those of you who aren't on Facebook, you can go to our YouTube page. We're on there and we're streaming live on there as well. And we're here each and every Wednesday discussing issues, music issues, street culture issues, our community issues, basically. So we're here doing that. Big up to Lisa Max, Sandy PB, Wayne. So Wayne, you're in the building, and Easy Colette. I can see that you guys are also in the building as well. Supporters of us three as well. Set the Trend Podcast, Fifth Avenue. So big yourselves up. Right, we have our next guest here who, hey, I mean, it doesn't get much better than this guest, does it, really?
Woohoo!
No, it sure doesn't.
It doesn't get much
sure
better.
doesn't.
You know, earlier on I was getting cussed for not having any bass in my voice. Well, some bass is coming in now.
Good evening and welcome.
Good evening and welcome to the icon that is Omar MB. Are you in the building? Well, he was there somewhere. Oh, there he is.
Hey!
Salute.
Lockdown.
He's in the lab. He's in the studio, it looks like.
How are you doing, Omar? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Turn your mic on.
Yeah, your mic might not be on.
Can I hear you, mate?
MBE. Oh, yeah.
There you are. That should be.
Is that you now?
Still can't hear you.
Nah, I still can't hear you.
Yeah, he's rubbing his chin. I think he's trying to work out what is going on.
This technical stuff.
No, let's work it out.
Yeah, we'll try and work it out. The producers, I'm sure the producer's going to try and sort that out. He ain't got him muted, has he?
Most probably.
I don't think so. I don't think it's on this side because he would have had the mic come up. So, as we said in Set the Trend Podcast, while Omar's there sorting,
I bet he hasn't turned his mic on.
sorting out his connections and so forth. A singer, when we talk about Omar, we probably say there would probably be no Angie Stone, maybe no D'Angelo, maybe no Erykah Badu, maybe no Music Soul Child. If it wasn't for Omar, that's how influential that he's been on neo soul music over the last 30 years.
Oh, you there?
He's got a mic in his hand, but we can't hear you, Omar.
Can't hear you. Do you want to dial in on your phone, Omar? Or you might have to dial in on your phone if that isn't your phone.
Yeah, we still can't hear you.
Yeah.
Well, he's on mute at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's try again. Hello. No. Well, we're having a bit of a problem. Let's go and come back to him.
Yeah, if you can, maybe you can try dialing in on his phone. Maybe that'll work as part instead of using the computer.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Does that work?
Welcome, Omar.
I've got about 10 different systems going through this.
I can imagine.
I don't know why I'm dealing with it. But all right. Hello, good evening. I was saying, what time do you call this?
Is this into your artistic time, is it?
Yeah. Something to do with the melanin. I don't know about that.
So how have you been keeping over lockdown, Omar? How's it been for you?
It's been interesting. You know, I'm missing my girls because I'm in London, they're in Brighton. but I've got to be here in the studio so I can still create music. And you know, we got to do everything differently now, because now the gigging side of the game is completely shut down. I was going to be away from this time till the end of this year into next year doing shows. Just like abroad, Brazil, Ibiza, Greece, States, all shut down. So now, go on.
So that's really affected you, the touring side of your music.
Yeah, that's like half of my income there is just gone shot out the bank, you know. So we got to think of different ways to do it now. So it's been very interesting. I'm setting myself up so I can do shows from in the studio as well, because you know I've got my setup here. I can't get the camera and run around and show you, but I've got everything around.
Is that something that you're doing just to kind of keep your profile out there, or is that something that you're doing that will monetarily give you some income?
Monetarily, but also to just get some kind of expression, you know, because I was already doing Facebook and Instagram live. I mean, but now I decided, well, if we're gonna do it, I have to go in deep and make sure the sound is good, that the look is good, I've got the lights up, and you know, I'm gonna get cameras in there, all that kind of stuff. So that when I put on a show, then it's gonna be a proper show, you know. I don't want to leave people like they thought I've changed, like Teddy Riley and
So how have you found the interaction now with your Facebook? Because obviously you was doing it before, but does it feel slightly different now in lockdown?
Yeah, I mean, because people are at home now, they need to occupy their time. So it's either TV or music. And I'm finding that people are finding the comfort in, you know, which is really beneficial to me, but also pleasing, you know, because it means something, that my music would mean something to people that would give them some kind of comfort, you know. So yeah, I've seen a sharp rise in the people listening to the music.
Have you seen a new fan base come online for you since?
I tell you what, I've been on Spotify artist. I've just recently kind of joined that to see what kind of statistics I could see coming in and out, and it's like just the curve went up straight up last weekend, like from 8,000 to like 30,000 people. Like,
wow.
You know, in a day. So yeah, I mean, that's why I can see what's happening now, and yeah, it's very interesting to see what makes people, you know, what makes people tick.
So how do you see you replacing that revenue stream then, Omar? You know, because 8 or 9 months of touring money for an artist like yourself, that's very substantial.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's what I'm saying. So to be able to perform was one of those. I've actually just seen a friend of mine who he's actually set up a live stream in such a way that a band can play together, but in their separate venues. Because you know what, we've had a problem with the time lag and all that.
Yeah.
But he's worked out a way where there's no time lag. So if I could work that out as well, and then I can get to play with people from around the world, and then people can actually enjoy a concert in the comfort of their own homes. You know, because we don't know how long we're going to be in this situation. If you know, I think maybe the next thing would be outdoor concerts with the social distancing, or you know what I mean. But I don't know how that works. You know, especially when people want to get down and groove to your music.
That is the problem, isn't it? Because touring is one thing, being able to socialize is a complete other thing. Because obviously we're used to being in a situation where the venue's either intimate, or it's a festival, or it's a club setting, and that all goes out the window for you as well, doesn't it?
Sure, yeah. I mean, you know, the hospitality and us are sharing the same fate. You know what I mean? Restaurants, bars, anything to do with people socializing, you know, enjoying themselves in a public setting is out the window for now.
Is there any government money that you can tap into? You know, like businesses can. I think small businesses, self-employed,
self-employment thing. We should be able to come to us. PRS have been very helpful. I know the IVAs have been very helpful. Spotify have got a little funding situation there as well. So there's a lot of different situations which people should go and check out if they're stuck as well for money. Because I know there's a lot of people there that they got to feed their kids and pay bills and stuff. And that's one of the ways. So there's a lot of avenues open to us. A lot of revenue.
While you talk about the streaming services and the revenue, do you feel that in this time there's a bit of a call for Spotify and a few of the other Deezer and people like that to up their rates that they're paying artists at the moment because of the massive boom that they're having as a result of lockdown?
Possibly. I think that sounds like a good idea. I mean, you know, I've only just looked into my statistics to see what it's like with how, you know, how many people are listening in a week or in a month or something like that, and it's doing quite well. But I don't know what that says in terms of revenue, like how much that brings in. But in times like this, and if you're, you know, Netflix just took on like 12.5 million new subscribers. So, you know what I mean? I think out of that they could, you know, generate some money for people that are not that well off.
You recent. Oh, go, Reggie.
Go on.
No, Reggie.
Oh, go ahead, Michael. We haven't heard you yet, mate.
You've recently released an anthology album, like some of the best Omar songs ever. One of the songs on there is one of my favorite songs, "Feeling You."
Yeah.
What's special about that song to you?
Because it's written by my idol, my mentor, Stevie Wonder. That song was originally in '92. He'd heard my second album, Music, and he said he wanted to write me my first #1. And I was like, I don't care what you write me, just write me. And for the first time, I went to LA, and I went to tell Wonderland, which is where he wrote and recorded songs in the key of life, Innovations, classics like that. And I'd waited all day, would come to midnight, get the phone call, told me to go down there. I had to wait another 2 hours. Then we finally get into his production suite, sit down and start talking, and the man fell asleep. On me, like,
Wow.
Yeah. So then I had to say, all right, you know what, just let him rest because we've been up all day. And then I had to wait another 8 years until I got a phone call saying, yo, man, it's your boy. I'm like, who's that? I said, Steve, Steve. And he goes, Stevie Wonder. I went, yeah, right. And, he did. And then I was like, wow. So for 2 months, I'm like his ambassador, where we went to restaurants, clubs, bars, hotel. Finally, we got to the studio. Put down one tune, and then the next morning I get another phone call. He goes, I got another tune. I goes, all right, come on then. And then Feeling is that song, is that very song.
Wow, that's
Yes.
like 8
So
years
you're
old,
from-
is it?
Yeah, 8 years old, yeah.
And so what you say?
8 years. 8 years ago, yeah.
8 years ago. That's 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it took me 8 years from '92 to 2000 to get into the studio.
Oh, wow, yes,
Actually,
yes.
It was 7 years because, can I do maths? No, I can't do maths. Yeah, it took that long to get into the studio, but the release was in 2000, so 20 years ago.
So Omar, in terms of creativity over this lockdown period, how has that fared with you? I mean, have you used it as a source of inspiration, or have you just been kind of doing the same kind of style and tunes that you was working on already?
Yeah, still the same style of tunes. I got a bank of tunes anyway, and I was working on the next album, album number 9 to come in the first place. But in particular, like I said, I'm not with my daughters now. I'm with them every week normally, and this is kind of
Feeling, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm feeling it, and I decided I want to do a song with them on a cappella, so it's the 3 of us singing, because they sing beautifully as well, but they haven't had a chance to get on one of my tunes yet. So I started writing a song just to deal with, you know, us missing each other. I mean, we see each other every day on FaceTime. God bless the internet and whoever invented it, and the video calling and all that, because I don't believe I would have survived this without that. You know what I mean? Because we train every day in the garden, we do our exercise and all that, so we're always connected still. But I wanted to write a song which I thought would be something that they could sing with me.
Okay, Omar. So if people want to get hold of you and see you perform, what platforms can they get you on? Find you?
Well, for now they can get me on Facebook Live.
And that's Omar. Is that Omar?
Yeah, that's Omar Lifehook, LYE for Freddie OOK. And also Instagram Live, which is Omar _Lifehook. And
right. Before you,
it just pops up when it does. But I'm actually waiting until I get the next 2 cameras, and then I'm gonna post up a time and date when I'm gonna be performing next.
okay.
Yeah,
Before you go,
Yeah.
right? Before you start, 2 things. Number 1, you've been out serenading people on their doorstep, right?
I give you good price.
So it's a revenue format, yeah?
You found the ultimate revenue stream there.
Yeah.
Serenading people on their doorstep.
I've just had a text.
What?
The same person that got me that gig said, "Oh, we've had another couple coming." So don't be surprised if it's that kind of,
How much for Newcastle?
How much for Newcastle? I'd have to bring in the helicopter ride on top of that.
Listen,
go on. You got
we got people are listening. We've been asking them to send in questions, obviously, for people. Here's one from Kandreen. She says, Omar, if after the quarantine, would you do or have any gigs that promotes people of color who are battling with hardships and prejudice, and also youths of crime today?
I'm sure I would. I mean, if you invite me to perform at something like that, highlighting that, of course, I would do that.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Omar.
Yeah.
We have invited you to come and take part in our interviews, Set the Trend podcast, and you have said yes, or your manager has said yes on your behalf.
The best manager in the world.
The best manager in the world. And the podcast is about the street sound culture, and many people won't know that you used to sing in Ladbroke Grove back in the days in the blues dances on Special Edition Sound was one of them. So you're really a cornerstone of our culture, Omar.
Bless you. And I got to say, actually, I saw you was busting Simplify the other day.
Yes.
Was it your Instagram Live?
Yeah.
That's up for that as well. Yeah. Listen, I've been around a bit. This is 36 years strong now. I've been releasing music, 8 albums deep, and I'm blessed to still be doing it. And putting the anthology out and having that catalog and that legacy to leave behind is that means something to me, that people are still listening, and it's all going through all the generations as well. And enough respect to you boys for it, I'm supporting the cause as well.
Hey, no, enough respect to you. Enough respect to you, mate. You've got me enough bookings as well with your songs, mate. So, come on now. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Omar. Thank you, sir. And we'll see you soon. If it's not in sunny Barbados with Rick Clark on the beach, I'm sure we'll see you somewhere else in a festival.
Might be up in Bury, Manchester. That's the last time I saw it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Omar. Thank you. Oh my days. Yeah.
One of the UK's finest soul
One of
singers.
the icons. One of the icons.
Yeah.
One of the icons. You know what? You didn't hear me. He's singing on sounds. On our street sounds from back in the day, you know what I mean, and that shows you the work and the commitment that he's put in over the years to get where he is.
One of the things you missed out on though is like when you say Omar, you must say Omar MB.
Yeah, MBE.
Let's put some respect on his name.
Hey, I always put respect on his name. Always.
Put more respect on his name.
All right, I'll put more. Right. So welcome to Set the Trend podcast again. If you're viewing us, you're either viewing us on our YouTube channel, Set the Trend Podcast, or our Facebook channel, which is Set the Trend Podcast. Remember, on the Facebook channel, you can ask questions, you can like, and please share the link as well and like the page. So when we come on again next Wednesday, you'll be notified straight away. And you can do that on the YouTube channel as well. So this week, we're looking at the artists and what they're doing to supplement their income. Now, a lot of their revenue stream has kind of gone out the window. And we have another artist who is in the building, as they say. One of our guests, Aysha Loren, is here somewhere.
She is. Yeah.
I can see her
She's
her,
there somewhere.
yeah, I can,
Yeah,
there
you
she-
go.
Hey, hello.
Hello,
Evening.
Aisha. How are you, darling?
Can
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes.
there we go.
Hi.
Turn your mic
Oh.
on.
No.
You have to
Can't hear
speak.
you.
Speak. Still can't hear you. What's going on? All these artists putting their mics down and not putting them up. Don't know what's happening here. We can't hear you. Speak. Say something. Sing us a tune. Hello. No.
So Aisha Loren,
Producers.
so while she's there trying to fix her mic, she sprung onto the scene in 2014, singing with a remake of Louisa Marks' "Keep It Like It Is." And since then, she's released her album, and also duetted with enough legends in the game, and recently sold out Hideaway, and left her mark on the Jam Rock Cruise last year. And we are definitely looking forward to having a word with her. And it was definitely going to be her, yeah. I'm sure she's got an album to release as well. So until Corona, connecting to Audio Access.
All right. Now you just
take
need
off
to
your
press
mic. Just
unmute.
take off your mic now. Yeah.
Just press unmute.
Is that us or?
Hello.
Yay!
So sorry. How are you?
Ah, there we go.
Aisha, come on. How are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How's the family doing in quarantine?
It's difficult. Very, very difficult.
You're home tutoring then?
Yes, trying to, but I can't remember all that stuff. Really, really difficult. Yeah.
So how's it been for you? Because you're a singer-songwriter as well, but touring is kind of the artist's main form of income these days.
Yeah.
And I know touring was going to be a big part of your schedule this year.
Yeah, I had probably the most shows that I've ever had in my career coming up this summer. So yeah, there's a lot of disappointment, but there's a lot worse going on in the world. So there's always next year. So yeah, it's been a difficult time, especially with my husband. My husband's a musician as well, so it's like a double whammy
In the household, yeah.
in the household. So yes, we think of other ways of trying to make that income come.
Have you seen have you seen any other avenues that you may explore in the future to kind of get that income to start coming in?
Actually, something totally different. So I've got another passion, which is fashion. So I've started an online business selling clothes. So people are always asking me where I get my things from. So I've decided to have another avenue to try and make some extra income and do something that I love as well.
Is that clothes that you make, or do you get them from somewhere and sell them on?
From elsewhere.
Okay. And where can they find that at while we're at it?
At trulylush.london.
Trulylush.London, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything for the men?
Not yet. Trying.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Looking at him.
Imagine.
My husband's not the same thing.
So, have you been writing any songs in this time, in this period here?
I've been recording, so I've got loads of songs written that I did in Jamaica, and stuff that I haven't had the time to record. So I'm using this time to record music. We've got a studio in the house, so I'm able to make music, and it's something that even dub plates I get told off all the time for not having time to do dub plates. So I'm doing it as well. So
that's something that the DJs can also get up for.
Yes, and that's another way of
put me down for one or two, please.
Yeah.
Obviously, send me your PayPal and I'll get it over to you.
Definitely. Yeah.
Have you embraced Instagram or Facebook Live yet? Doing any live shows on there?
I haven't. I am thinking about doing it. It's something that I've never done before, if I'm honest, and it's something that I know I need to do. And I'm seeing all my colleagues doing it, and they're doing it so well. It's just having that no interaction with the crowd. I just need to get used to that and get my head around it.
It may be uncomfortable, but
so
it's something that can also push your creative part of you to do something that to push you to somewhere that you haven't been before in terms of your creativity and performance.
Exactly. And I'd like to do it right as well. So I couldn't even get the mic to work. So
Where's your husband when you need him?
make sure
So for you, so the writing is one thing. Do you get any income coming in from PRS or Spotify or anything, or is that nothing to really talk about?
I do, but it's very, very little.
Really?
Very little, yeah. It's mostly shows that
Okay.
My income, and same with my husband, shows, because he produces a lot, but you don't really see that money, and if you do, it's just a little change.
It's not enough. It's not enough to make it go by.
No.
Where do you see the business going then, Aysha? I mean, if this continues for another year, for you as an artist, how do you think that you will be? So come the end of the year, and if this is still continuing, will music be something that you still say that you would want to continue, or would you definitely then be looking at maybe a change of career? Or
No, I love music too much. Yeah, I'm always going to do it. I don't just do it for the money. I do it for myself. I'm very, very creative, and if I can't do what I love, that'd be very, very frustrating for me. So it will get better. It will get better. Next year will be, yeah.
That's right. It's not going to last forever. And you know, the good thing about it is that you're writing, and on the other side, you're going to have the material to hit the road and, you know, make up for that lost revenue that you lost.
Exactly.
But also, you've got the fashion brand. I mean, look at Kanye West, man. You know, you never know. In a year's time, you could have that lush stuff really selling out in online in Boohoo and all these various other. What is it?
I hope so.
Forever 21, is it? Don't ask me how I know about these places. But
Island.
yeah.
What are your inspirations at this minute? So you're in lockdown. What do you look to inspire you to write, to create music? I mean, your husband's there, so you're at an advantage in that way that he is a musician, he is a producer.
Yeah.
So what kind of things are inspiring you at this moment?
Sometimes even just listening to the radio, hearing some nice tracks, and listening to the radio, having me time as well. Right now it's quite difficult with 4 kids. So when they go to bed, it's time for me to think, and there's no specific inspiration. I would just say I have to be in the right mood, not be tired, and having my husband there with the keyboard and the guitar, it really, really helps.
I've just thought of a name of a song, Me Time.
Me Time.
And it could be about you giving the husband the kids to do what they're doing, and then you have your bathroom set up with your candles.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Reggie. He's always after songwriting credits.
Right, mate. I still ain't got paid for flying without wings.
Okay, Aysha, so we can look forward to seeing you sometime soon on live, Facebook Live or Instagram Live. Do you reckon that you're going to be brave enough to do that for us?
I will do that. You challenge me, I'll do it.
I do. Come on. You know, this is personal with Aysha because I played at her wedding when she got married a couple of years back, and she requested me to get to be one of the sounds. Me and Hooligan was playing, and your cousin, and that's the first time that I met her, and ever since it's been like I've known her and her husband for such a long time. The vibes and the positive vibes. So from me, I just want you to stay positive, you and the family, and keep on with the music, and remember that we're going to be always out here to support you and support your journey.
Well, thank you very much. That's not the first time you met me, though. You just don't remember me.
Yeah, that's
and that's for another story.
That is for another podcast.
Ouch.
Aysha, thank you for coming on and being a guest and sharing your story, because I know it's very personal, but thank you a lot for shedding some light on artists and the situation through no fault of your own. A lot of you have found yourself in. So thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And you know who to book for the wedding anniversary now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And inbox me about the dub plates.
Yes,
We will
100%.
do. Right.
Yeah.
So they can find you on Instagram, just your name?
Aysha Loren Music. So it's AYSHALOREN.
And Facebook? Yeah.
Same, Aysha Loren Music. Yeah.
And any other platforms you want, or just those two?
On Twitter, Aysha Loren Music. So that's all the same, Aysha Loren Music. You'll find me.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Yeah? All right. Look after yourself. Thank you for coming on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanking you. Lovely Aisha.
Hey, lovely Aysha Loren. What this is telling us is, even though people look at music and they look at it as a source of inspiration for many of us, we've been live streaming it. I've got into live streaming. So we usually do the DJ thing, and DJs can't do it. We do music, and music has been a source of inspiration for many of us to bring us up from our downs. But it shows you how hard some of our artists and musicians are really having it at this moment in time. Maybe the Cash Apps. Cash Apps is another thing that I should mention to some of them, shouldn't I?
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
The Cash Apps is the one, it's the way forward. Facebook have just announced that they're going to be allowing people to tip artists and tip people in their live streams by clicking a button. So,
yeah, so that may be one of the ways forward.
And now for our next guest.
But before you do that, remember they can share the link on Facebook, and they can also watch on YouTube if some of your friends are not on Facebook. Share, watch on YouTube and subscribe. And put in your questions on Facebook, please, and we'll put them to the artists. Thank you.
Okay, now we should have our what's it? Our fifth guest. Is that the fifth one for today? We've had Kadeem Tyrell, Hill Street Soul. We've had Omar.
Yeah.
And now we've got our fourth one. We should have the lovely Aysha Loren. Is she here? Let's have a look. Are you there, Aysha?
Hey! Hi, Aysha.
See if your mic is working.
I'm drinking. Is that
We
okay?
have it. Yes.
Aysha. Sorry, let me top up. Don't worry about that. Good. Got me Blackwell rum. You know what I mean?
Singer, writer from South London, and also lead singer of the Ambassador.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the Ambassador? I haven't heard that one before.
It's a show band. It's a show band, so we do function shows for corporate companies, various companies, weddings, whatever. Yeah.
Is that in the UK or is that all over?
All over.
Where's that taking you?
Maldives, Slovakia, Spain, Portugal, everywhere.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Now, what I know, apart from your singing, you love music.
Yes.
You love all different types of artists.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In this isolation period, what's on your playlist? What are you listening to at the moment?
So now I've been listening to whole albums rather than, because what I do is I will listen to an album and I get the song I like and I wheel it up and I wheel it up and I wheel it up and then I don't really hear the rest. It's really hard. So I've been listening to the whole album, but I've been listening to Her, Moonchild.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Going back to old albums like Georgia and Mildred, just a wide range. So whatever fits me on the day.
And what about your husband? You've been listening to him?
Is he listening to?
Have you been listening to your husband, D'Angelo?
Of course.
You're the biggest D'Angelo fan.
He's always on my playlist.
So, how are you coping in this isolation period?
I think I've gone through phases because at the beginning, just before the lockdown, I was sick. So I had like the flu-like symptoms and whatever. So I went into isolation, and then the whole country was locked down, and then quite a few people would pass away, and then I'll hear about a lot of people being sick. So it was quite daunting at the beginning, and then I guess I've just tried to adapt. So I've written like a to-do list, and I have a to-do list that I need to tick off while I'm in isolation.
And when you say you had the flu, do you think you had corona, or was it just a different strain of flu?
I had the symptoms. So I don't know. Because, you know, none of us have been tested, so we don't know, do we? We're just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I guess now I'm just adapting to the situation, I'm getting on with it, have a to-do list, and getting through my to-do list and have things to do and keeping myself busy. As like music, I mean, I'm an artist, but then I have a full-time job as well. So I've been working from home.
Ah, okay. So, so have you been creative and been writing some new stuff, or just?
Yeah, I've been writing, but then I realised that I spoke to a few producers that I work with, in particular one, 2B3, another from 2B3. And, you know, I'd write a song and then I'll go down to the studio and record, but obviously I can't do that now. So I've bought equipment, now I'm recording. So we record the vocals and then send it on to him to mix, and we just find our way. We're just trying to adapt to the situation because we don't know how long this is going to go on for now. So, yeah. Got to do what we've got to do.
Okay, good.
You know, I was going to ask you, what do you think about doing some soul versions of TikTok? Aysha Loren on TikTok. Is that something you've thought about embracing at all?
Yeah, I've got the account. I just haven't done nothing with it.
Now's the time.
I will do it in time. And I thought, yeah, I would do like an Instagram live, or, you know, I just haven't got around to it. I've been really focusing on writing songs. I have like quite a few backing tracks to write to, and now I've got the time to write it. So I'm just utilising the time.
Have you been inspired by anybody on Instagram Live though?
Everything, from the singers to the DJs to everybody. I think, I don't know, it's like every day there's someone to watch and be inspired by. So it's just a vast range.
So you've been watching Quarantine Radio. What do you think about kind of like other artists and singers that have been doing their thing? For instance, Tory Lanez. Yeah?
I think it's great because, you know, we're finding, you know, most people are getting bored at home. We have like varied artists and DJs to listen to. You can just put the music on and then go around the house and do whatever you're doing. I've watched a bit of the Tory Lanez.
Yeah, you did.
Be nice. I've watched your show.
Thank you.
So going back to the Tory Lanez thing, here's an interesting one. As an artist in quarantine and lockdown, do you think it's possible for female artists to get away with doing a similar thing to what Tory Lanez done?
Yeah, if she's got the right personality, she can do it. Yeah.
So getting guys to come on their Instagram and pour oil over them and stuff. Do you reckon that? I think that would be massive. I think you'll go from like 50,000 followers.
Yeah, it depends on the personality. I mean, I think it can work. It's entertainment, isn't it?
No. Is music and songwriting, is that your main source of income for you?
No, so I'll say my 9 to 5 is my main source.
So you got your 9 to 5. Okay, so
I've got my 9 to 5, and then I have the show band, the ambassador band as well. Then obviously I have, you know, royalties, but that doesn't pay not much. And then you've got the shows that I do as Aysha Loren.
So obviously you haven't received no compensation for that, and there is a government fund if self-employed. You can go in, you can, but you're not self-employed. But you, sorry,
I'm part self-employed. So, but because I'm still earning, because I'm working from home, I'm not furloughed. I'm still getting my full pay. So, money-wise, I'm okay.
So you're one of the lucky ones. Okay. Yeah. So in 12 months' time, if you can't perform, what do you think the landscape would look like? What do you think it's going to look like for artists? I mean, how do you think the industry will look in 12 months' time from now?
I think it will adapt, because I've seen you were talking about Cash App. So I saw something on Instagram. I'm not sure what the platform was called, but it was a similar thing. You perform and then you tip them, and you can tip them how much you want, you know. So I think it might go down that route, or there'll be more of that coming along.
But we can look forward to...
adapt.
Well, that's the thing about when you're in some place like this, the one thing you have to do is adapt and change. Otherwise, you know, it just finishes, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, can we hear you? Are your songs on Spotify as well? Can we hear you on there as well with some of your songs?
They're on Spotify. You can buy it on iTunes.
iTunes as well.
Yeah.
Bandcamp.
You
on
there's
Bandcamp
some
as
great
well?
Japanese
I
releases.
don't really. No, not on Bandcamp.
Because you were big in Japan, weren't you? You were huge in Japan, and a lot of I remember buying quite a few Japanese releases.
How about? Is it very expensive?
Very expensive.
Very.
I'm sorry.
Just so you know, you got quite a bit of money coming from me,
I'm
my pocket,
sorry.
my dear.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was signed to Avex in Japan for many, many, many years. Still have a good fan base out there right now. I'm working on the album now, so once I've completed the album, then I'll go out there and do some shows at the Blue Note. And
you have a lot of Japanese fans kind of like getting in touch with you, you know, from abroad, places like China and Japan, still coming up and kind of like asking you for your music and asking you for shows.
Yeah, I still get them messaging me, tagging me, dancing to my songs or doing the dance routine to my songs. And yeah, still do.
Oh, wicked.
So when can we expect some new material?
Well, we're kind of watching. I mean, I was going to release the album this year, summer. So now we're just reviewing that. So I'm just focusing on the creative side, getting the material ready so that when we decide that we'll be ready to go.
So does your release date depend on how long it takes you to come out of this period? So for instance, if we're still self-distancing till the end of the year, will you hold that album till maybe next year, or?
We might do. I think we just have to sit down and discuss and then figure out how it could go and what things will look like if we do release it earlier or if we release it early next year.
Cool.
Might release like a one single though or something.
I think we would appreciate that. I think we would appreciate that.
Rather than the whole album, but we'll keep busy.
Good. So if people want to get hold of you, they want to follow you, where can they do that? I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, on Instagram, and everything is Aysha Loren Music, which is ELISHALAVERNE music. Right. Aysha Loren Music on all platforms. Great. Thanks for coming on, Aysha. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Yeah, you stay safe. Take care. Bye. Bye. One of our favorite artists around here, isn't it? I mean, we've known Aysha for long years, time, man. For a long time, and she's been doing everything. So she really deserves. In fact, all of these artists deserve some more money in this little downtime period, because none of them are your Elton Johns. You know, they're not your big artists that can afford to sit down for a year and like relax. They all either have that as their main income, main family income, or it's a supplementary income to help them. Sub income, It's really interesting when, you know, we've spoken to kind of like 3 artists who have got a full-time job doing what they're doing as well, which is, I found that really interesting. But they're the lucky ones. Anyway,
have we any messages out there? Have we got any messages, any comments?
Loads of comments.
We have, and Reggie,
I've just seen Frankie Beverly, who's come in. We've also, Candrine has definitely been, and Claude's have been like going at it. Biscuit has been giving us quite a few messages as well. Don't worry, the producer's been telling me my camera's a bit dodgy, so
no, it's you that's dodgy.
Apologies. So.
Right, remember, Set the Trend podcast. You can catch us on YouTube. Share and join us and join us on the podcast there on the channel, and also Set the Trend podcast on Facebook. You can also catch us there. Like and share the link, please.
Wow, and I think it's now time for our international guest.
International.
Born in Alabama, living in Atlanta right now. Welcome, Carmichael, to Set the Trend.
Thank you.
Are
Thank
you
you.
there?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
All
Where
right,
you
all
at? In the
right.
nightclub? You in Magic City at the moment?
That's right.
No, no. This is a man that's got his game prepared
Yeah.
for this stuff here.
I thought it was Magic City. I was waiting for
That's right.
Peaches to come from behind the screen.
Welcome to the Music Lover Club. Welcome to the Music Lover Club. I created
Wow.
I created my own environment during this time, so I have my own club at home.
So is this your inspiration? So is this how you get your inspiration now? The whole vibe that you've created there helps you to write, to think of songs, to be creative.
Not on there yet. You can come and talk to me for a little bit.
This is my work environment. I'm sorry.
Someone's mic and can.
Aysha Loren. Big shout out to Aysha Loren. Her mic is still on. I can hear.
No, it's not. It's Kejam. Can someone mute Kejam for thank you? Sorry, Carmichael. There you go.
No, this environment here is my natural environment when I go out into the world, when I perform. It's a similar environment when I do a club, when I do a birthday party, or when I do something over in London. I want to create that environment at home and get comfortable with it here so that when I go out, I feel like I'm at home.
Okay.
So tell me, what is that in the background? What is that environment you're in right now? What is it?
It's it's a legitimate stage. It's velvet curtains, black velvet. The wall has diamonds on it over here. In the back, you see the diamonds right there. Mm-hmm. The wall is lights. It's more lights. It's bling. It's velvet. It's microphones. It's instruments. But I just create that environment so that if I'm comfortable in this, wherever I go, I'm at home. It always feels like home here.
It looks
on
amazing.
This day, it feels like home.
So we've been in lockdown for around 5 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
What have you learned about yourself that you wasn't aware of you in those 6 weeks?
Well, we've been on lockdown for 6 weeks. I just purchased a home 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
I've been here 4 weeks. I did this in 4 weeks. So what I've learned is you have to stay ready. You don't get ready. You don't get ready for pandemics. You don't get ready for trials and tribulations. You stay ready. I hear a lot of artists talking about, well, now I learned I got to get familiar with social media and I got to get familiar with, that's the beauty of this time. It puts you in check and says, where am I weak? What do I need to work on moving forward? Because we should have been ready for this. And so that's my advice. Use this time in isolation to get ready.
You're very positive about it. I mean, that's one way to look at it. I know a lot of people, there is a lot of sadness and unhappiness happening right now, but you've chose to focus on being positive and have a positive mindset to focus you on your music and where you're going.
Because I realize music is not just entertainment. This is, okay, we're dealing with COVID-19, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have a vaccine yet, right? What do you do between the issue and the cure? Guess what you do? You cue the music. Whenever concert starts, the artist is not ready. We're not ready to start the show. People are sitting, they're anxious, they're eager, they're dealing with anxiety. It's like, okay, the artist is 10 hours late, cue the music. So the first response to anything is us, is the DJ, is the artist that create. Music is the first cure to any situation. So I take that seriously. I don't water it. I don't dual work. I focus specifically on mastering me and what I do.
So what have you been up to so when quarantine came about, what kind of stuff have you been up to within this period?
My inspiration comes from people and their stories and listening and watching their life unfolds. And I churn all that stuff into songs. It can be drama. I can take drama and make a love song out of it. I can take just any kind of negative and turn it into a positive. And so what I've done in this time is I've just finished my 10th CD. And so I'm waiting on the right time to release it, but it's done. And it's called House Party, because I've been jamming. And so I think everybody should change their perspective. You're going through some things, but make the best of it. You're at home with your family, your kids, you got food,
100%.
you got lights, you know, you're still breathing. That's celebration time right there. So
You've written a song called Rona, which is
Yes.
about Corona. Why did you write that song? Obviously the situation, but why did you decide you wanted to write a song about it?
because that's what I do. I let people know how in tune I am by creating stuff in the moment. And so Ron is very significant as people are dealing with a lot of serious anxieties. You know, we're worried about finance. We're worried about our health. We're worried about there's so many different things going on. As an artist, it's our job as first responders to create something that is real, but at the same time soothes while they find a cure. See, it's our responsibility to soothe the world. Music sales and instrument sales are at an all-time high for anybody who sells instruments and sell music. It's at an all-time high. We are the first response while they're working on a solution.
Do you know what? You see how you say that, Carmichael? It's true, because even as a DJ, I've been buying musical equipment just to live stream. You know what I mean? So you're 110% right on that.
Sorry.
Just to play music.
That in your music.
I know a DJ that spent £5,000 on equipment to go live to 10 people. They're not even, sorry, they're not a DJ. They're somebody who does finance, and they decided, right, they want to play their music. They're a big music fan, so they bought the CDJs. They've bought all the lightning leads and all these various other things to connect. And you're right. A lot of people have been buying a lot of music equipment.
Have you done any Instagram lives yourself? Gone on and just done a performance?
I have an Instagram account, but I don't frequent. That's the only place I don't go is Instagram that often.
Facebook?
I do Facebook. Once or twice.
What's that? Have you ever thought about going on live and just doing an impromptu concert?
That is why I built this right here. My weakness, COVID-19 gave me time to reflect on my weakness. My weakness is wanting to go live, wanting to get on a stage. That's the last on my desires, to sing to the crowd. I grew up shy, I grew up timid and all that stuff. I'm a beast, in the studio. And so getting on the stage was my least desire. I've always wanted to master everything except the stage. And now that's why I've built this, so I can practice being comfortable in that environment.
I think you would definitely give Teddy Riley a run for his money with that background. 100%. Talking of that Teddy Riley stuff, would you do one of those kind of versus things? And if so, who would you like to kind of go up against?
Anybody. One thing about a champion is they don't pick. Only wimps pick who they want to fight. A champion say, anybody ready? Come on.
Bring them on. Bring
I may
it.
lose, but hey, anybody, come on. That's how you test what you made of.
Well, Carmichael, you're living in Atlanta, which has a very strong Black community.
Yes.
How's the COVID-19 affected the Black community in Atlanta? And there's a situation going on there with the food banks. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Do you know anything about that?
Believe it or not, I don't own a television. I don't even own a radio, and I'm a music lover. I don't have a radio or television, and it's been about 15 years now. I get my information from the internet, and I get my inspirations from listening to people. So my senses are stronger because I've shielded myself in certain areas. I don't know what's going on until I hear it. So I couldn't answer that. I have no idea.
Okay. So this little thing here, can you all see it? This is the brand new album by Carmichael. It came out in February.
Yes.
It's got 17 songs, and from number 1 to 17, every single one of those tracks are superb.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
This is album number 9 for you. I know you said you're doing number 10, but this is album number 9.
Yes.
I haven't had an album like this where every track is brilliant. how did you manage to make 17 good tracks and get them all on one CD? Because all the other previous albums are very good, and they've all got 2 or 3 songs that I like personally. But this one, every track's a winner.
It's simple. When you begin to streamline your focus, I mean, every album I evaluate, what can I do better? What can I do better? What can I do better? And I had to cut out all the extra stuff. I mean, I know having a side gig is important, and I encourage that if that's what you need. But when you can just focus on just being better, actually, that extra energy that you put into that thing to make it better will supplement the same income that you use to go out and get the income. You get what I'm saying? So if I go out and get a job that's going to pay me $500 extra a week, if I put more energy into what I'm doing, I actually can probably increase what I'm doing by $500. And so that's how the CD became better. I just focused specifically on listening better and turning those experiences into great music. And song number 10 is ready. I mean, CD number 10 is ready, and I think it's gonna rival the best thing yet.
There's a guy who comes on just before me on my radio station, London Star Radio, and he rinses the tracks from your album. Like literally, he rinses. He just goes through them, 4 or 5 in one show. So I got to big up Jazzy G, man. He never leaves any of the ones that I like for me to play. But as Michael said, there are so many records to pick from there that a lot of people would definitely like. I was going to ask you, the music artists in Atlanta, and I know Americans, they take their stuff in a different level when it comes to music and production and stuff like that. In the lockdown period itself, have you been collaborating, or is that something you'd like to do, collaborate with various other artists? Have people been calling you up and saying, yo, Carmichael, you've definitely got some hits for me that I might want to sing? Is that something that you're trying to get into, or are you just a one-man band? Listen, this is me.
No, I love to collaborate with people, but I think I scare them away. I scare them away because people want to come to me when they want to sing and they want to feel good and make music and stuff. But I want to do business. I want to do music business. You mentioned not R. Kelly. You mentioned Teddy Riley. I was watching Teddy Riley on the Breakfast Club online last night. And Teddy Riley mentioned how he walked away from $30 to $50 million because of a bad record deal. And when he walked away from this guy, he went to the airport to come to Atlanta, but then the guy that he was signed to froze all of his credit cards. That let me know one thing. Teddy Riley didn't have control of his own money. He didn't have, even his credit cards wasn't even in his control. So he was at the airport. He said he was stuck. He had $20 to his name. We're talking about an icon.
Wow.
And so we're talking about, after that, I studied Ricky Bell from New Edition. He said he was broke at one point because of bad record deals. If you can go down the line with African-American artists, we have never gotten a fair deal, even though we can if we take control of our own stuff and stop just wanting to sing. I love singing. I endorse it. I said, do it. But understand the business side. So when I get people in my camp, in my space, and they understand where I'm at, they be like, I'm out of here. I just wanted to sing. Carmichael's crazy.
But in this Corona, in this Corona environment, how are you supplementing that income? Because I'm pretty sure that you get out and you do a lot of clubs and festivals and tours and so forth. No?
I have the opportunity to, but I don't. Because like I said, that's the least that I like to do. I don't like to go out. So isolation is my life. I go out when I want to go out, and I come back into my environment. And so,
I mean, Atlanta's a big place, and America's a big place. So I suppose the income and the revenue that you make compared to somewhere like the UK is probably a lot more when you have hit records.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, I take it that's what supplements you to be able to build that massive ensemble in the background.
Yes. When I got into the industry, I've been in the industry since '96. I worked on the Tony Rich project. That project sold 7 million.
Yeah.
So I began to study. I don't study artists. I actually study the people that artists sign to. Because an artist sells music, but the person that they sign to actually is in control of their whole creative life. I want that kind of power. I don't want to be able to just move songs. I want to be able to control lives. And so record companies have ripped artists off for centuries and decades, but I want that kind of control. So long story short, I've set myself up to sell units. I understand the business of the industry so that those pennies that I make, they are small, but I saturate the market. And so pennies turn into dollars, you know, and so the market is saturated over the years that my catalog has allowed me to be blessed. And I'm so thankful that I've tapped into the business side of it, the ability to make the money from home.
You was due to be in the UK performing next month at the Jazz Cafe. It's now being moved to December, God willing, and all that stuff. What would the London audience expect from one of a Carmichael music lover concert? What would they expect?
Just a lot of great music, a lot of stories that can be related, simple verbiage, catchy melodies, and just fun, engaging music. I mean, I want songs that people can, you know, and hold the microphone out and you can at least sing the hook with me, you know. So just a good time, good music, any age group, you know, nothing needs to be censored. And so just a good, clean time.
Carmichael, we've got a question from our viewers, and one of them, DJ Cookie, is asking, Head to Water, what is the inspiration behind that track?
Head to the Water. I recently, Atlanta is a concrete jungle. So it's buildings everywhere, it's people everywhere. And so being here 25 years, every time I take a vacation, I would go to the beach just to, you know, then come back to the city. So one day I decided, you know, I'm going to leave the city and I'm not going to come back. And so I for about 3 months, I would visit different beaches. I was looking for my new home. And about the 7th stop, I found a place in North Carolina beach, broke me in tears. I went to the water and I started crying, and I was like, oh my God, I feel the energy here. I never left. I stayed there 1.5 years. That song was in me, and I had to write about it. It's just, you know, I followed that song with a song called Me in the Ocean once I got there. But music is untethered communication from a higher source. And if you are obedient in those messages, it will manifest in a way that takes care of you. It really would.
Now I can't have you explaining that song and not explaining On the Cloud. That's like, you know, one of the most beautiful songs I've heard in a long while. Tell me about that one.
Well, it's a man talking to a woman. It's talking about do you want to just live life on a cloud? That's a figure of speech. It's like, and he said, I promise that your pretty wings will never touch the ground. Everything I do, I would try to keep you in this space. And it's just a romantic song, just using just a play on words. And believe it or not, I don't remember a lot of my songs because I don't write them down. They're all, I turn the microphone on and I get in that moment and I just.
Is that microphone on now?
Yeah. It's on right now.
Is that?
What do you mean?
Remember the words to that one?
I haven't been talking in weeks and my voice is really,
no problem. No problem. Yeah. Carmichael, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you in December, live at the Jazz Cafe.
Thank you. I'll see you there.
And I love the album, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Carmichael.
Thank you.
Salute, sir.
All right.
Oh, that's our international connection tonight. Set the Trend podcast. Like us on YouTube. We're there. You can view us if you're not on Facebook. You can give that to your friends and family. And also we're on Facebook. Set the Trend podcast. Like and share. Right. Last but not least, we have a maverick of the game, a long-time OG in the game. Kejam Magic is up here somewhere. He should be there.
Hey!
Welcome. Well, I know you as
D Magic.
Yeah.
D Magic.
So,
You know, you forget Ray. You forget Ray. I'm Nigerian.
Welcome.
Second best jollof rice.
And Kejam has been 40 years in the UK industry as a veteran producer, award-winning playwright, and artist development. And also, he works consistently and continually on promotion of independent artists in the game. And I know him as a teacher. That's how I knew him. And he's still out here. Education
consultant.
And he's still out here, and he's still there doing that. D, the music landscape has changed unrecognizably because of Corona.
Yep. For
you, if you're advising an artist now, what would be the best way for them to make some money? Being that the tour revenues have gone, they're iffy about if they're going to release music or not.
Yeah. Well, the issue is, Ray, Carmichael is right. A lot of people aren't prepared. A lot of people don't understand the business. A lot of people haven't got any foresight. So it's like, you know, it's like, Ray, a young kid comes to the studio to see a producer and he says, I'd like to be with you. And you say, go on, get on the mic and do something. He's not prepared. And a lot of the problem is people are not prepared. I'll give you an example. For the last 2.5, people were laughing at me 2.5 years ago. They saw this crazy guy making all these, I taught myself how to video edit, right? And they saw this crazy guy making all these little videos. What is everybody doing today? Making videos, right? But I knew 3 years ago, you had to go start making videos because the whole music landscape has changed. Do you know what I call a DJ?
What?
Digital entertainer.
A digital entertainer.
Right. In 1957, they made the word the DJ. How can that word still be applicable in 2020?
Well, in all fairness, to be honest, in some scenes, the DJs are actually called artists. So, for instance, in the house scene,
I'm just talking about the word. I'm just talking about the word. The thing is, people are not prepared. They've got no foresight.
Okay.
Well, the issue is, I was just going to say something simply. A lot of artists are too late. It's too late. It's too late. You should.
Too late.
It is because
it's never too late.
No, I'll give you an example why. Because I'm not talking about the young kids. For the young kids,
It's never too late for the old ones.
No,
look at Susan Boyle.
let me explain why I'm saying this. Right, it's because our market has shrunk. There's no infrastructure, especially the UK. There is no infrastructure. The infrastructure was taken away. People are still trying to sell CDs. They're still trying to sell vinyl. Georgie B is the benchmark for 7-inch vinyls, 250 copies. Right, we're talking about business now.
When you say 250 copies, what do you mean? He only sells 250.
No, he will press up, and even the top people on the scene will only press up now 300 7-inch vinyls. That's all they will.
That's because
those
people on the scene, don't really know records. Now, I spend my life all day for about 40 years of my life selling records.
Yeah, I know.
In a record shop and selling CDs, and I still sell them. Yeah, but all those guys, I'm not going to call any names, but they don't know where the record shops are. The ones that they used to go to, they're not there anymore. But there's still others out there, but they can't find them because they're out of touch. So you can still sell records, but you've got to know where to sell
them. I know. I can sell records.
And more than 250.
I can sell records. I can sell more than 250 records. I sold more than 250 records in Japan. I sold quite a few records in Japan.
I was referring to London anyway.
But
UK.
But the thing I'm trying to say to you is, people may think I'm a bit of a maverick, whatever it is. But my thing is, I have to tell the truth. I've seen this since 1974. I started off promoting Cameo in 1977, right? An independent act on Casablanca. I did Cameo.
That's right.
I did Peebo Bryson on Bang Records in 1977. Do it to the music. I did Luther Vandross on Cotillion Records on the first Luther album with the 4 of them. I pushed that around for Cotillion Records. And
that sells for £200 now. That one does.
Even, I tell you what,
if you got any in your attic, let me know. Yeah,
I have 25,000 in my attic.
Yeah, all right. I'll call you after the show.
Can I say I want 20%?
So Kejam, so if they can't get their money, so they're not going to get their money for selling vinyl.
They're not going to make money. See, this is the big mistake everyone's saying. I see lots of arguments going on Facebook with people saying, oh, you know, they're not prepared to let young people's music be played by some of these DJs because the young people don't have the catalog, etc. The young people don't care about what we do. They don't, true. Right? Give you an example. I sent it to you, Ray. My daughter and her friends are killing this thing. My daughter's friend she's 33 years old, best friend, featured in Forbes magazine. She's got over 2.9 million subscribers. If you don't have a subscriber base, you can't do business. Simple. You know, I told Ray, I actually sent Ray the added up of all the artists, apart from Carmichael, how many of those artists, Ray, was on Instagram? It added up to all of them 30K. How many of them was on Twitter? It added up to 25K. That was a total, you know, and we're talking, this is a business. This is a business. The business no more is not about selling records. The business is a brand. You're a brand.
Yeah.
The business now is a brand.
Okay, we get that. But the thing is, though, from an isolation standpoint, Kejam, and I can tell you this from a marketing record company standpoint, which you may disagree or agree. Yep. The fact is that, yes, you are right in the sense that there are brands and, you know, the youngsters are on Instagram. But you have to remember that many of the outlets for music like Carmichael, Aysha Loren, and Omar, and I was just about to come to you on your stuff, is a lot more limited.
Totally.
In regards to where people can have access to hear your records. So, for instance, even Robbie Williams is regarded too old to get played on Radio 1. So they're outcasting those type of artists. Outside of Radio 2 and maybe a few others, it is all 100% based online, and it's finding the mature audience who haven't embraced the technology. So it's difficult if you're a mature artist, where the people that you want to sell your records to, most of them are probably on Facebook. They haven't gravitated to Instagram or to Twitch or various others. You know, as yet. So it's kind of like difficult as an artist to be able to say, right, okay, I'm going to try and get 2.9 million viewers when most of their audience hasn't even embraced Instagram yet.
Totally agree. And the issue, and that's one of the issues. You're totally right, Reggie. That's one of the issues. The issues are that I get a lot of artists come to me because I've created this thing now called on UK Rotation. I've been experimenting with it, and a lot of artists come to me, and I create videos, viral videos, and I spin them. So therefore, I don't have to give a DJ a record because I can viral spin the.
Can we just remind the listeners? Yeah, because we're getting some interesting questions from like the listeners. Let's just remind them of the topic, which is how are artists going to hold on a second, Kejam. How are artists going to get another income within this coronavirus and the pandemic that has happened? Also to remind them that the person that we're interviewing is also, okay, he's mentioned some of the artists that he's worked with before and some of the ones that he's mentioned promoting. He's also worked with Chanel, and Lovely Day was one of his tracks. Derek Dixon, Got to Get Her was one of his tracks. So besides Luther, besides, who did you mention before?
Cameo.
And Peebo Bryson. That is just part of your resume. Yeah. So I'm just reminding them. Yeah, this is how you, and you're a strategist.
Yeah, right. A lot of people don't know that in 1985, I did a song because I used to work with Roy Carter. You know Roy Carter from Heatwave and Central Line. I used to write with them all the time. I've got a song called Live and Learn by a guy called Warner. People are paying 200 and 250, 300 pounds for that 7-inch today. It's the money.
Are you getting points on that? Are you getting points on that one?
Yes, I'm getting points. I co-wrote it. Do you know what? I actually wrote, Roy. I actually wrote the whole song, but I had to give away half to get it done.
So how do you see the way forward for them then?
The way forward is they've got to build partnerships, and also they got to start.
How do you mean partnerships? How do you mean?
Like for example, before all this came through with the coronavirus stuff, I was telling artists to go and start working with charities. I was telling artists, don't take your music to the normal traditional routes. Partner up. Like I know a young girl, Megan Rice. I tell you, Megan Rice has got this brilliant song called Caged Bird about domestic abuse. I said to her, do not release that and take it to the UK soul scene. Take it and let's find you a top domestic abuse charity, and let the charity take the song, and let's work the song through the charity and into the mainstream that way, because charity have a lot of avenues to take a record. And so that's what we've been doing with that record. The other thing I've told a lot of artists is, why don't you partnership up with in your cities the tourist agencies and all the top travel people in your area, and therefore get your song as part of promoting the city. So therefore, there's another route you can go down. So
yeah, syncing, like syncs.
Yes, exactly.
That's huge. Like for instance, with Love Island and all these various other programs, they have a actual department in record labels who actually work on this stuff, which is trying to get their music placed in TV programs and part of soundtracks, and they're making a lot of money out of it because the whole Shazam thing, because somebody will hear a record in the middle of one of these reality programs, hit Shazam, and that all contributes towards their streaming sales and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and that's what they should be looking at. They should be strategically planning for when to come out of this, because like I work with another artist, Cleveland Jones. Cleveland Jones to me is a brilliant artist. You know, I have to mention him. He could be the next Gregory Porter. And Cleveland Jones, he's from Atlanta too. A brilliant singer, absolutely brilliant. He's got the same background as Gregory Porter, same family type background and everything. We've been working on this idea, which is we weren't going to. He's working on a jazz album. We were going to go to all the top hotels. We were actually going to go to all the top hotels and do our tours through top hotels. We weren't going to go through the other side of the scene. That's changed now because of this, what's going on now. But that's what we were going to do with his new jazz album. We were partnering up with people like the Shangri-La Hotel, all the Shangri-La hotels worldwide. So we were going to, because once you're in that sort of domain, it's a money domain. Therefore, you're dealing with money. So all the people so that's the other type of route. The other thing also is, a good example is my daughter's friend who's got the 2.9 million I was telling you about, who appeared in Forbes. What she's done is exactly what people should be doing, is looking that if you've got the subscriber bases, you then take the subscriber bases and then you start to get into other people's subscribers, you know, to who their followers. Like she's gone from doing like that young lady wanted to do fashion. She was doing that. Now she's into housing properties. She's got her own makeup, her own housing properties, education stuff and everything. And that's what people should be doing. They should be doing, not just relying on music. Music alone is not, in our independent world.
Kejam, and that subscription thing that you're saying, I've seen a lot of the younger artists,
yes,
and 20s to early 30s, they've also gone into the gaming sphere. Where they're going to the gaming sphere to put their music or to play games just to get that next set of fan base.
Totally. And it's the same thing that happened with Travis Scott this week. 12.8 million people. And my nephew, who's 11, was sending me videos of him in the game. You've got to see this, uncle. You've got to see this, uncle. And you know, and that's...
but somebody like Travis Scott has got a very, 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 very well experienced lawyer and business manager who's able to negotiate those type of deals. Like, you know, most of these independent artists cannot call up Michael Rapino at Live Nation, or can't call up a few of these tech departments and people make decisions.
Or even call up Kejam. They can't even call it.
Yeah, they can't even call him.
Do you know what? Do you know why? Because
I've been trying to get a beat out of Kejam for about 10 years.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's because I'm like Carmichael. I isolate myself and keep myself away.
I've seen you in Cleveland Jones. I've seen you working it on the soul scene.
Yeah.
Now, again, you know, soul scene is not going to get you those numbers.
No.
It's not. But not ignore that scene, and you're not ignoring it.
No, I'm not ignoring it, because the reason why I'm not ignoring it, I'm like you, because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, but you can do both.
Yeah, I'm passionate about
that music and promote that, but you can also make your billions somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I do.
Yeah, but you know, it sounded like, and look, I know this isn't again the platform for that. I want you to come on the podcast another time, and we can thrash it out there and then. But you know,
now in terms of,
I want, you know,
yeah, I want the best for artists. That's the one thing about me, is I give a lot of time for free for artists.
See, I want the best for our community.
Yeah.
I want our community to be able to access good music. I don't want them to be able to have because it's selling 2.5 billion and it's not for our audience, it's no good to me. So I want our audience, and I want our audience to get the best. And you know, so let's not try and dismiss them.
No, I'm not dismissing them. I'm not.
No, you're not dismissing them. But when you when you talk about billions and numbers, and you know, it kind of makes us feel small, like we're, you know.
But we are small. We are small.
Yeah,
we are small. We are small. Let's be honest.
We're little, but we're small. So you have to make sure.
We're small.
We're small.
Reggie,
you know what? You know what? Can I just say? Right? I think that Kejam's got some great points, but I think the reality of the situation is that, you know, the current sound is the current sound. If artists are making music, talking about Don't Rush, and that challenge, Don't Rush challenge comes along, or Drake's 2C Slide, that went straight to #1. The man's dancing in his mansion in lockdown, and he's doing Michael Jackson. So that's just the reality of how the mainstream is embracing music at the moment, when you're talking about making big bucks. But I think for a lot of independent artists and people who are serious, like us as DJs and promoters,
grown folk music,
you know, yeah, we will always have a great marketplace, but sadly, a lot of those records. I mean, I walk into Radio 2 and I will play Carmichael, or I'll play an Aysha Loren, something along that line, and I try to sell it to these people, and they turn around and they're like, not sure. Gregory Porter comes along, and he's had to adjust his sound to suit that particular type of audience. And look, lo and behold, Radio 2 backed him. He became huge. He sold millions. You know, he's done really well off the back of it. So I think it comes back to what I said before, which is that if we don't have the audience on the platform, so if all of the people who are normally using independent music are not on Instagram, are not on Twitch, are not embracing Facebook, it's kind of difficult to be able to sell your music on those platforms.
But Reggie, look, there's a new artist. Yeah, there's a new artist called Cleo Soul. She's gonna be be humongous.
She's not new. She's been around for a bit.
No, she's new. She's just got an album coming. It's just come out.
Let me tell you something.
I know Cleo Soul. She's gonna win a Mercury. She's gonna win a Mercury Music Award for that album.
Yeah, but she's been at it for years, though, Michael. So
it doesn't matter if she's been there. The point I'm making is that she has British artists making proper music, and she's going to be selling units. So how is it can work for her, but it can't work for some of the others? Regarding Kejam saying, "Oh, you know, it's just a few, it's little numbers." She's going to be. Yeah, you did.
Hold on.
Hold on. Let Kejam answer that point, man.
Yeah, I said this. I said a lot of artists are not business people. right? And also they don't have the right partnerships. They also don't have the right infrastructure around them and the right people around them to be able to create something for themselves and to explore what you can get out of it. They're not strategically, they're not strategic. That's my issue.
No, but you, because you are an educational teacher, yeah?
Yes.
Like, you got to kind of you might not want to do it, but you got to advise some of these people.
I do, and that's what I do. A lot of people don't know. I do. I spend a lot of time advising.
You need to do it more and make it louder and make people know so they can come to you and get your advice, because the advice is good, but let's push that advice. And I'm not telling you how to do your job. Let's push that to some of the better music, because I know deep down inside your passion is for real quality music.
Exactly.
I know that. Yeah?
Exactly.
And I understand it doesn't pay the bills. Yeah.
And exactly.
At the same time.
But guess what? I can make it pay for itself. That's my forte.
Pay for itself.
Kejam, just the last question before we go. In fact, we've got a couple from the audience, and I do want to ask those questions, and not just have them coming from us. How important are platforms like this for practitioners like yourself?
Very, very important. Very education, anything education, as you know, Ray, you and I've worked together, is important. It doesn't matter. It's what information you get out of it. That's what this is about. It's about what you take out of it and what you can go with it and use it for yourself. Something can be good, something can be bad, but at the end of it, it's what you can take from it and what you can use with it.
Right, I've got another question here from Bernard Stephen. Is music a stepping stone to other businesses for artists?
It can be. It can be if you can make the music, create the buzz, or create a way where you can start bringing things like T-shirts. I'll give you an example. On my Kejam vinyl, we had this fantastic art cover. By the way, you still didn't give me your address to send it to you.
I'll make sure I send it. I thought I did. Okay.
No, the vinyl, right? Yeah. People wanted the people.
I don't even have the tune.
But people loved the cover, so they wanted it to put on the walls. They wanted T-shirts made out of it. So it can bring you other income streams. And also it's and here's the most important thing is when you do get some money, is what you do with that money and how you turn it and use it to supplement other income streams, to make it support you. As Carmichael says, when you're down in isolation, you want something to support you.
Yeah. And the last question from the audience is, did you remix the tune with Alicia Keys, Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney?
No.
Simple as that. Correct. No. So, thank you. It's always a pleasure talking to you. We don't catch up as much as we used to, Kejam, but I think we definitely do, and we love your passion, and we definitely approve and acknowledge your knowledge that you have. So, if any artists.
Ray, sorry. I know we slightly went off topic, but can we get him back on another podcast? So we can.
That is easy. That's easy. That's easy.
I can tell you some stories.
And you're going to. He has got some stories from street culture as well. I can tell you that. So, Kejam, where can people get hold of you? If artists need some advice,
it's Kejam 1 for everything.
On Facebook, on
Instagram, everything. Kejam Magic on Facebook, Kejam 1. And also, I've got this new spot now on my viral thing, especially for new artists. I've been working with some new artists. And the thing is that if any new artist and I like your music, I will promote you for free.
Right, thank you.
You just put me out of a business then.
No such thing as free.
Thanks a lot, Kejam. Thanks a lot, and be safe and look after yourself and your family. Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for coming. Good to talk to you.
Very good.
Thanks, Kejam. Nice one.
And you, take care.
Cool.
Bye.
Hey, I tell you what, it does get spicy in here sometimes, eh?
It was good, man. It was good. It was good.
Slightly off topic. Slightly off topic.
No, but he had some great points, because if you're an artist who's currently in isolation, that is what you should be thinking about right now, which is if you're serious about what you're doing, you should be thinking about your business moves and setting them up for when we complete and finish this whole isolation stuff, because you know you're already going to be hitting the ground running if you do, and if you don't, let's be honest, you're going to be at the back of the pack.
And another thing that I picked up, which I think is another pertinent thing, is building your brand. It's growing your brand. That growing your brand, how important that is to have people who your consumers who talk to you, who follow you, who subscribe to you. So in the bad times, you've got a ready-made audience there to put out content to get some revenue back.
And that doesn't just work for an artist. That also works for DJs.
Of course it does. Yeah.
DJs have to also build their brands. So,
also, I think live performances, but not as we know it.
Well,
maybe in the future.
That's
you know what? I'm interested to hear what the thoughts of next week's podcast guests are going to think, man, because that's going to be a good one. Then
and I'm going to say it in a minute, but before we get into that, also cash apps. I didn't hear enough of that mentioned by artists, and I wonder if they think it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if they think it's a begging kind of thing, but I see enough DJs using that cash app and making a little change out of it.
Yeah, people are making money. But that's the future, though. At the end of the day, you know, you have to remember that most of the artists we've spoken to today have got full-time jobs or supplement jobs. They're not.
And those who don't, they take care of their business.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, who could we say? Probably Omar, probably the only person that you could say, right, is full-time, 100% committed to being an artist every single day, right?
So was not. I mean, all of them were committed. But whoever second revenue stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't have because every person we spoke to said they had a job that they do. So, you know, what I'm trying to get at is that obviously, if you had just decided, right, I'm going to be an artist full time, and then all of a sudden, because of isolation, your touring has gone, the studio, or your or maybe even your whole entire plan has been set on hold, and you haven't got no money. If you're not signed to a label where you've signed £100,000 record deal and you've got an advance sitting in the bank, you're screwed.
I think that's a rule. I think that's a rule for life. You know, your parents always told you, make sure you get a skill, just in case something falls off. Something else too.
And you know, women always have their Vex money as well.
Let's not go into women and their Vex money. Thank you. Thanks to all our guests who have appeared tonight: Kadeem Tyrell, Hill Street Soul, Omar MB, Aysha Loren, Aysha Loren, Carmichael, and Kejam. Thank you to all our guests. Every Wednesday for now, they can catch us with them in isolation at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. For the next 2 weeks, for next week, we have another show, and we call it the Promoters Edition, where we're going to have 2 promoters from London and promoters from Birmingham, Manchester. Anywhere else?
I think, well, Manchester / Liverpool.
Manchester / Liverpool. We'll be having them.
Maybe Bristol.
Bristol, and not your normal club promoters. Some of them are very big club promoters. Some of them are concert promoters that will be stepping into the room, and we'll be discussing how is lockdown for them and the issues pertaining to them and their income stream right now in coronavirus territory in this lockdown. So that's next week, Wednesday. That's on Set the Trend podcast on our Facebook and on our YouTube channel. We'll be broadcasting live, so please like and share. The week after is our Ravers edition, our Consumers edition, where
it's going to be spicy.
Where we want some of you guys to come on Set the Trend podcast and talk about how music has been for you throughout the coronavirus and what kind of inspiration has it been for you. If you're Johnny Nobody who's all of a sudden turned into Facebook Live, playing music and entertaining, we'd definitely like to hear from you as well.
And all sweet vibes, love letters are welcome as well.
Where you get, that drink's kicking in. we must,
Black Hole Rum, the greatest ever, man.
Are you getting paid for marketing that, rum?
No. I'm not. I was gonna drink port actually, but then I decided to start drinking rum. You know, we don't mix our drinks around it.
Yeah. And so we're also and the next week after is going to be one that I think, if I get it past the guys, we'll be looking at issues within the Black community pertaining to business, pertaining to your own health and welfare, pertaining to a lot of things that we think that as a community we need to be thinking about as we come out of the coronavirus. So the next 3 weeks are fully packed and we look forward to it. Remember to like, subscribe, and please share. If you're on YouTube, can you please subscribe? Thanks to all our listeners on YouTube who joined us tonight. Thank you very much for being there. And thank you again, all our viewers on Facebook. Remember to go to Set the Trend Podcast and like and share and subscribe. And also, big shouts going out to our partners at the spot. Thank you again for working with us. And thank you for the team behind us who are making us look so efficient and good up here. Thank you very much, because we couldn't do it without the team. Most definitely, we couldn't do it. And we couldn't do it without Michael Wickedman Fontaine, and neither Reggie product placement styles. So we couldn't do it.
No. Can I just say, hold on. Can I just say, what was I going to say again? Yeah, can I just say a big shout to Misha Paris for her birthday the other day, who celebrated as well. And also anybody else who's celebrating their birthday. And also rest in peace to Dr. Psycho, who would have celebrated his birthday tomorrow as well. So, you know, good on. And
of course, let's not forget to big up our NHS workers and carers out there in the community fighting on our behalf. Thank you, and caring on our behalf, more to the point, for our loved ones. Thank you again. And to anybody that finds themselves put in a situation that they don't want to be in because of coronavirus, we hope you keep your faith up, be happy, and stay blessed. Thank you. We're out. Thank you. Set the Trend Podcast. We'll see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Peace.
Peace.